Women share to be bold and take risks. The top women say what they feel and mean what they say. Yeah. The top believe in your power, so much power. Yeah. The top where women share, women share.
Hey, everybody. We are back. We are back. Just like that. It's another Thursday. And what you know is what you know. It is Vault Talks Women Share. We are in the building. And it's the first Thursday. So we're really excited because if you didn't know, now you know. It used to be first Saturday, but we did a little switcheroo. And so we are live every Thursday night from 6:30 Central Time to 7:30 Eastern Standard Time. And here we are. We're going to kick it off with Isha the influencer. She has an amazing quote for us. But before she does, we need to do a brief introduction. We have the Coaches Huddle coming up. It's our newest segment that we've added to our show every first Thursday. So it's right here on this platform that you get to enjoy getting the insight, the perspective from women coaches that are doing their thing. So ladies, thank you so much. Coach Nellie P in the building, all the way from Virginia, Coach Kira from Texas. And
hey y'all.
Hey y'all, with your little accent there. And we'll have Coach Viola Hall here in a few. Again, she used to be with us on first Saturdays, first Thursdays. That's what we do here on Vault Talks now. And holistically, you too is her segment, man, and you don't want to miss it. She talks about being holistic from the inside out, from your mental, from your physical to your spiritual, and it's always some type of major nugget that she always drops, and she'll be with us shortly. So, going into our next segment, we're going to go and go ahead and let Isha go ahead and take us on in. And I always forget this. For those of you who may be new to Vault Talk, I apologize. I'm being rude on tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. There's tons of things you can be doing on a Thursday night. Maybe you need a break from homeschooling your children all day and working from home. So we are excited to be your 60-minute break if that's what's going on in your world. So Vault Talks Women Share is literally a platform where women come together to learn more and share more about matters that pertain to their world. It's indeed on this platform that you'll hear us talk about things from fashion, entrepreneurship, relationships, and of course, ways to be empowered as women. So ladies, you guys ready for the quote?
Come on.
Y'all ready?
Yep. Come on.
Y'all ready? Okay. So this one is not by Isha. However, it is influenced by Isha the influencer. So let's go.
Right. So this one is not an Aisha original, but I thought that it was fitting for the topic. So the quote is, "We are all seeking the same path in different ways. Respect everyone's path, including your own."
Ooh, girl. Okay.
Yep. It's a little loaded. It's a two-part quote.
Right.
It's a two-parter.
One of the coaches want to take it. Give your thoughts on it.
You would do that. Go ahead, Coach.
That's actually a deep quote right there, but it's so true. You know, we all want the same things in life. We just kind of doing it on different roads, basically. You know, we all have different paths that we're doing it, but at the end of the day, like, we're all going in the same thing. And sometimes we get discouraged when we look at other people and say, well, they're getting theirs. Why am I not? But everybody gets theirs in their due time. And we all have to put in the work to get the results. And I think sometimes we forget that. You know, it's kind of like you see the person with a big house, but you don't know when they lived in an apartment with a bed mattress on the floor. So we kind of have to bring it back to reality to ourselves and say, hey, we all want good things. We all want happiness, but we achieve it on different paths. And that's okay. That's definitely okay.
That's good. And I kind of want to piggyback on Nelly. We also got to stop tearing like our fellow sisters and brothers down because they are successful. We got to think of that back end. We're jealous because that person's in the big house and they're living their dreams, and this person's still going to work, humping, working those 9 to 5 plus hours, and they're not happy. And they see their fellow friend or brother, sister living it up, living good, and they're like, I bet he had to kiss butt, do all this. We always have to come with something rude of why they are successful instead of focusing on their own lane. I always tell my clients, stay in your own lane, focus on what you're doing, and you support the other people around you. That's what make a power group. That's what make you grow, because you're constantly empowering and uplifting the people around you. So that wanted to kind of piggyback on what she said.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think that based off what you just said, Coach Kira, and also Coach Nelly, there's different avenues for what it is that you want to get into, and knowing that just because one person's life and struggle and whatever they had to go through doesn't mean it's the exact picture perfect as yours, or it's meant to be done the same way. We're all made uniquely different, uniquely, specifically to you and what your needs are, and you're the only one who does what you do. There's no one else that can copycat you. There's no one else can do or say the things that you do. So be confident within that scenario of itself, is in knowing that just because let's say, for example, just because I sing the way that I sing doesn't mean that the next person is going to sing the exact same way or carry the same tune in that exact same way. Maybe I can't hit them high notes because girl, I believe I'm a second alto all day, every day. But other people look at me or imagine or can hear me sing and hear something else that I may not know. So you have to be respectful of the different, the similarities, but also the differences that make us complete. So really owning it and really just taking hone into what you are, who you are, and what you can be just based off of your skill, your level, because no one else is going to be like you. So yeah, you got to respect everyone.
Yep.
That's good. And Liz, you said something about differences and respecting that. I think that's what we have to understand as we see other people pursuing some of the same things in different ways. When people are not like us or things are not like what we used to, we tend to not like it or we judge it in a certain way. And it's just like, people choose to do what they want to do, how they want to do it. Just respect what they choose to do, as well as they'll respect how you choose to, get to your point A to point B. I mean, we're all different. We're not meant to be the same. We're not meant to move the same. But like the quote says, we're all seeking the same thing, but we may not go down the same path to get there. There's more than one way. Like they say, I don't know if y'all heard that up north, but in the South, there's more than one way to skin a cat. So, just respect other people's, decisions and the way of life or whatever they choose to do. As long as they're getting to where they need to be, there should be no problem.
So here comes the identity coach. Here we go. So knowing who you are is a game changer. And I talk about this all the time. And when you can really operate in owning your life's purpose, why you're here, and it can be a struggle not to compare yourself to the next person, because there's so much going on in the world to where and my sister, where she at, my sister Viola and I were just having this conversation today, a couple of hours ago, just literally talking about the importance of staying focused as you are on your path,
Mm.
and aligning yourself with people who are like-minded. So when you do go maybe to the left to a little bit, you got somebody say, come back to right, come back right. Let me help you. And with love, right, come on, literally helping you navigate on your path. And it's really key. And a lot of times we don't have those positive people in our lives to be able to help us. And it's not just positive people, now that I'm literally listening to what I just said, people, period, because sometimes we need to hear the negative in order for us to be able to shift and realign to owning who it is that we've really been called and created to be. And sometimes it's those negative moments that literally allow for us to be like, oh, hold on. I need to rework that a little bit. I need to work the middle a little bit. I need to smooth this out a little bit. And sometimes those things hurt, they sting, and it goes back to even the sayings, the truth hurts at times.
Yeah.
However, how are you processing, what's going on in your life? Are you literally taking the time to process it? And it goes into processing and not overthinking. So even
Yeah.
understanding the difference between those two things. Process, you're looking to get an outcome. Overthinking is one of those things that can literally be a distraction and take you right off the path that you're trying to be on. So you really have to be in tune with, where you're going, who you are, who's around you. What are you listening to, period? Um, are you listening to those crazy voices in your head that are telling you that you're not enough? Those voices in your head telling you that you'll never amount to anything? Because coach or no coach, we go through these things as human beings, and literally having to, dust ourselves off, get back up, get in the game. When I was a little girl and I would scar my knees or my legs, my grandma would be really quick to put some cocoa butter on it. You know what I'm saying? If y'all know about no cocoa butter
Mm-hmm.
take care of any scar. Anyway,
Mhm.
but literally just dusting you off and saying, no, baby, it's okay. We're gonna take care of this thing and we're gonna get right back in the game. So understanding that your path is your path, and understanding that it's okay to allow the right people on your path that are going to continue
Yeah.
to help you be aligned in where it is that you're going, and they believe where you're going just as much as you do. And
Yeah.
so, when we are giving birth to ideas and concepts and businesses, whatever it is that we're giving birth to, it's really key that we have those people around us, because there's moments where we might even talk ourselves out of really pushing the go button or pulling the trigger because it's unfamiliar. It's something we've never done before. And so that's why it's really great to even have those people in your circle who have done some of the things that you're striving to do. So when you feel those moments arrive, they're right there. When you feel like falling all the way back, they're like, girl, let me push you back forward. Let me help you, dust yourself off and call your crown little cricket. Let's bring it in alignment so you can continue to walk out this thing called life and understand that you do matter and your identity is so key, especially in the times that we're living in now. It's a humbling experience for a lot of us, because it's an eye-opening experience to really realize some of the things that were working don't no longer work because of this whole shift in the pandemic. So it's really challenging you to go back to your blueprint and kind of figure out your path. Are you really aligned? Asking yourself these questions to make sure that you are indeed exactly where you need to be. So, like the quote says, we're all seeking the same path, yeah, in different ways. And it's okay to be uniquely different. It's okay that my path doesn't look like Nellie's. It's okay that her path doesn't look like Kira's. It's okay that Kira's path doesn't look like Liz. So, understanding that we all have our path, and my footsteps don't look like Liz's footsteps. I wear a size 9. I don't know what size she wear, but I'm not trying to get in her shoes.
Yep.
So that part right there, I like my 9s. They're comfortable. I wouldn't try to fit in a size 11. I would have to put some tissue in there to even make it try to fit, or so, or paper towel or something to be comfortable. And so being comfortable in your own skin is something that I'm even getting back to, with just understanding who I am all over again after going through some different transitions here, and even in the past month or so. So just paying attention to the signs of life will also help you. But I'm telling you, it's nothing like having a circle of women or whoever's in your circle to continue to help you be aligned and push you forward.
That's right.
That was a lot.
It
I'm
was real.
I'm done.
It was real though. Well, I wanted to kind of just quickly share because I had a situation. This is not a long story. I'm not gonna make it no long story because I'm not gonna give her that kind of time. But when I first started my coaching journey, I wanted to be different. I wanted to reach out to people that was want to be motivated, not to buy anything. I just wanted to send them motivational videos that I was making. So I was reaching out to my friends on my friends list and just having that personalization of why I'm reaching out to them and why I want to send them motivational videos. And I told them it could be yes or no. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I need to hear more no's anyway. Well, this lady that I kind of know, she's a coach as well, and her response was shockingly considering she's older. She's a coach. She went through this journey, and she told me, I'm doing it the wrong way. Get with me and I will show you how to build an email list correctly. Now I said, hold on a minute. I know how to build an email list. I want it to be unique. I want it to be different because I can easily just make a landing page and have a link and create my MailChimp and do a whole email campaign. I don't want to be just somebody behind the computer. I wanted a face to go with the message. Point blank, period. So
Mhm.
instead, she was just like, okay, well, if you need advice in the future or if you need some help, please reach out. And I just told her thank you. Now I thought we was done. She literally posted our messages on her page. And people were tearing me down and saying how I was stupid. I don't know how to do business. She is not going to make it as a coach. Just all kind of negative feedback. I had to block her because I just felt that was unprofessional since me and her already had an exchange. We already severed the ties. We already know you don't want the motivational videos. I thought we were done. So that kind of situation like that is where you're telling me I'm doing something wrong. I mean, I kept pushing. She told me I was not going to get a lot of people, and I ended up getting 120 people just from me reaching out and just telling them my motives and what I'm trying to do. And she still said I wasn't going to make it. So just if I was weak minded, I would have let this older woman that have this experience as a coach make me quit. So just a message to anybody's listening, whether you have experience or not, don't let nobody tell you you can't do it. I pushed through it. I didn't let her tell me I wasn't going to make a list. I ended up making a lot more people than she thought I was going to get. She said I was only going to probably get 2 people, and I well surpassed that. So that's the kind of stuff I'm talking. And she was a sister, y'all. She was a black lady. I ain't gonna say no names, but I just thought that was very unprofessional. And considering she does have a following here in Dallas, for her to do that, that wasn't good. And I mean, I could have flipped it and told everybody like not to trust her. She's tearing down her own people, but I didn't. I just blocked her and I just removed her.
Wow.
Yeah, sometimes
Wow.
you just have to know when to let go and let God
Hmm.
handle the rest, because everything else is just, hearsay, or, that's a bully type of situation. And
Right.
unfortunate. So I'm happy you just kept it moving and did what
Hmm.
you said you were going to do. And you've touched a lot of people, I'm sure, from
Oh
it.
yeah. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your transparency because I know for sure someone is out there listening who has probably experienced something, maybe not exactly that, but something near to that where they're looking for, wisdom, counsel, looking to be coached, by someone, that can serve as that mentor and to literally go through that. And you didn't stop, sometimes that would have shut somebody all the way down,
Right.
and discourage them completely. So just moving forward is amazing. So thank you for sharing that. Wow. That's deep.
Hello, beautiful ladies.
Hey, hey.
I would love to interject on that,
Come
please, if
on
you
with
don't
it.
mind. Okay,
Come
so
on.
first and foremost, you said a mouthful, okay? Because we could really hit on some deeper issues in that, because it's people like that give other coaches a bad name,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to our culture.
Yes.
And it's like, how are we supposed to grow, especially as women, and we're tearing people down? And one of the things that I've always learned is that when the student is ready to learn, the teacher is going to appear. So sometimes we can't go seek counsel from people who are just money
Mm-hmm.
hungry. Not to say that that was the issue.
Yeah.
However, her motives were in a different place. Her motives were to you pay her the money and she can coach you to do it the way she wanted it instead of what you wanted it. And you just reached
Mhm.
out to ask for her professional advice. So we have to really be cautious about who we talk to, unfortunately, especially when it comes to our business endeavors and the things that
Mm-hmm.
we're launching, because people will try to tear you down and manipulate you into thinking like, okay, well, she want this, she gonna have to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not real mentorship. That's not real coaching.
Yeah, that
Right.
wow, that's huge in itself. I mean, I'm still pondering on that. You call yourself a coach and that's how you coach people. You know, that's not even a tough love approach. So I'm just thankful that you were able to recover and move from that. And that's a huge thing right there. So, with that being said, we're going to transition into the next segment, which is the Coaches Huddle. So, tonight we have the honor and privilege of having Coach Viola Hall, Coach Nellie P, Coach Kira here to assist us with facilitating this conversation. So, if you don't know now, you know, every week on Vault Talks Women Share, one of myself or Isha or Liz, we all have a topic that we're passionate about, and we have our own time to talk about different segments. So, this week is my week. And if you don't know now, you know, I'm the identity coach. So, all things identity is me. And you know, having Liz and Isha help with come up with this topic was huge. So here we go. The importance of living your life for you versus living your life according to the opinions and thoughts of others. This right here. Oh, OMG. So I'm gonna kick it off and then we can just go ahead and, you know, come aside one another and really share. So one of the things that I know from just being an identity coach and the research that I've done just about identity, a lot of people tend to they're molded and shaped as a child due to influences within the home, culture, things of that nature. And so the older we get, then we are, you know, stepping into our own and we wonder why we face some of these stumbling blocks of really shedding off the old and not realizing that it came from a cultivating of our minds at an early age within our childhoods and this is who we should be, this is who we shouldn't be, things of this nature. So this topic is really important because we really want to help people tonight, tomorrow, whenever you're catching this, if you're catching it on the replay, that your life indeed matters the way that you know that you can live it, not according to the opinions of others. And there's a lot of people who are really stuck in a transitional place between wanting to step out and really live their life according to how they desire to live their life versus this is what mama said, this is what grandma said, they told me I need to do this. So there's really a place where people are in the middle trying, it's like a really bad game of tug of war trying to figure out which way to go. So tonight we want to have the huddle, we want to break out as a team and come up with some wisdom nuggets to share with the audience. So with that being said, whoever wants to dig in, let's go.
I mean, I can really dig deep in this because well, and I'm not trying to be funny, but okay. So what I will just say on that is I'm gonna just go back to even high school because that's when a lot of people start feeling like they have to please others. And see, I was never that type of girl. I didn't try to fit in. Yeah, I cheered. I was very involved in school, but I had three main friends, and I kept that the whole 4 years. I did not socialize with too many people because I didn't want who I was becoming since I was transitioning into womanhood to affect like my future. I didn't want too many people putting their anchors on me of who I should be. Yeah, I'm a black woman. I had a lot of black girls saying, "Oh, she's too white. She an Oreo. She does school. She ain't checking for boys. She's a lesbian." It was always something. So I stayed to myself. So what this boils down to is you have to first know who you are. and who you want to become. Because I was thinking about that in my freshman year. Who do I want to become? Who do I want to be 10 years, 20 years from now? Where do I want to be? I know not many high school people think like that, but that's where I was. Everybody got an opinion. You can't please thousands of people because everybody's going to have something to say. You're going to have haters. You're going to have some people for you. You're going to have some people against you. So the nugget I'm going to say is you have to weed out the people that's not for you and for your ambitions and for your goals. Because if you keep keeping those people that you love and they're not even for you, you're going to still sit back and figure out like, oh, I can't do that because my friend said, oh, that ain't good. She doesn't think I will be successful as a motivational coach. I had a friend like that, y'all. I'm speaking real. This is real life situations. So why would I have a friend that don't even believe in what I do?
Ooh-wee.
So I love her. It was a 15-year friendship, but you know what? It was not good. It wasn't going to go anywhere. It's stagnant. It's terrible. So I let it go. And like Liz said, you sometimes you have to let go and let God. Don't let everybody's opinion dictate to who you should be. First, figure out who you want to become. Put it on a notepad. Put it on a goal list. Who do you want to be? Look at yourself in the mirror and you say those affirmations of who you want to become. And if you got people coming in that is not aligned, they're their word alignment. If they're not aligned with what you said you want to become, they're not for you. You can't grow. You can't grow with people like that. It's an anchor.
Ooh-wee.
That's true. I'm
Mm-mm.
going to actually jump in and say, yes, I agree with you, Coach, because at the end of the day, now, not all high school students, like you mentioned, are not like that. They ain't thinking like that. I surely wasn't. My thought process, because I had gone through so much already, I had just came back from Haiti, was already started high school in my second year of high school, and nothing was what I thought it could have or should have or wanted it to be. So I literally tried to stay away from people because I didn't want to have friendships if I knew that I would just be up and moving again.
Wow.
So that was my thought process. And you know, anybody now would have looked at me, they're like, "Oh, you a military brat? What does that have to do with anything?" No. I have a lot of military friends, but no, I am not a military person. I'm not a child of the military. This is just my life. I moved around. That's just who I am. And I had to really take that into consideration. Sometimes certain friends do run their course. Uh, you know, there's a lesson in every situation that you come across. Every person that comes into your world, they're meant to serve you with some type of lesson. Okay, I was real naive back then about it, but now that I'm you know, I'm 37 now, but now that I know and I'm more wise and I see and I, you know, like I used to be a very big observer of everything and everyone, and I barely hung out with the kids of my age. It was always with the older crowd because they always had more influence. They always had more. They always had, girl, don't go that route. Don't talk to that person. That person's not your friend. And sometimes you always have to go in and say, mommy, you don't know what you're talking about, or you don't know what you're talking about, whatever. And we try and we test, and then we burn, and then it's just like, ooh, okay, never mind. But it wasn't that bad of a burn because you already had it in your head. This person said this, that, and the third. Okay. So you really have to take that time out to really understand that if you don't learn from the lessons, you're going to keep repeating them over and over. One. Two, there, you know, your parents are, you know, I'm going to speak of my own personal experience, but my parents and my brothers, which are older than me, you know, I only have two, but they both have an opinion of how I should live my life. But at the end of the day, it's my life. And you have to like take a firm stance and really stand up. And that's what I'm going through right now. And I'm not, you know, going to be apologizing for it either later. But I've already put my disclaimers out there where you have to tell people like, look, this is, I love you, but I gotta go. You know, and it's a fine line how you say it because I'm not going to disown my brothers.
Right.
I'm not going to disown my mama. I only have one, even though I call everybody mama. Okay. Um, and I only have one daddy. So at the end of the day, you just really have to understand who you are. Take an account to really take that time and meditate. If meditating is not your thing, maybe you just need to sit in your own silence.
Woo!
Okay, because we all have to do it in some form or way. Or you need to, my aunt used to always say the prayer closet. Maybe you need to go sit in that closet until you figure out what it is that you want to do with your life, and that's it. Don't come out until you figure it out. And those are the things that's going to really help you break down and understand. Well, write the things that you don't want to do. I don't want to be bossed around. That pretty much negates pretty much a majority of corporate America for myself, or being told what to do. I don't want a boss. Apparently, I can't be bossed around. Okay, so in that retrospect, you need to take that time out. Really write it down, because there's nothing better than writing it down and really getting it on paper and really seeing, not type it up, because typing it up is one thing, but writing it down, it makes a whole different. I can't even pinpoint my finger on it as to the word that I need to use, but it makes it magical. Okay.
Yeah.
It's so magical that you start to write and then it just flows out of you and you think you're doing it, but it's not you, it's God. God is flowing in you to write down what you need to do, because you then tend to get lost in the translation of what it is that you're writing. And then all of a sudden it becomes just like an epiphany. Okay, that's the best word I can think of. An epiphany where you're just, this is the direction I need to go. So if that influenced or help or guided anybody, that's the only little tidbit that I can give on that end.
Look here, you talking about little.
Yeah.
Nothing about what you
You
just dropped
said a
was
mouthful,
little.
girl.
You said a mouthful, and I'm sitting there like, here comes.
I'm going through it.
Look, these bombs are
You
are
definitely
amazing.
did.
Yeah. So, Kira, I
Yeah,
gotta go.
I'm gonna pick up where you left off.
Okay. Uh-oh. Okay,
I'm
Kira.
just gonna feel because I got a little bit to add to what Liz said. Everything you said was on point. But once you write that down and really realize, like, okay, this is what I want, this is who I am, you have to go forth and believing that, because we can, think these things and it sounds good and it seems good, but we're faced with, the normalcy of everyday life of what everybody else is doing on a day to day, and it can make you feel like, okay, maybe I'm going in the wrong direction. Maybe I can't do this. Maybe I shouldn't, go a different route because this is what everybody else is doing. And then the pressure comes to where, people will try to make you feel bad for doing it differently. But you have to really believe in yourself. Like, that is what's going to make the difference. Like you said, flowing and writing everything down, but actually believing in the path that you want to take, because it's going to take a lot of courage and strength to kind of stray away from, generations of doing the same thing over and over. All the influences that you have, people, it's called the fool's journey. And that's when you embark on things in unknown territory. Like, you're doing things that you've never done. You're going places that you've never been. And for most people, that's not comfortable, so they never go there. They never take the fool's journey and venture out and try to do different things. But once you go there, and like Viola was saying, once the student is ready to learn, the teacher will come. That's when you align, and all these people, you attract the right people in your path that'll support, the way that you want to go. Once you veer off, that same path that everyone else has been taking, the things and the people that you need in order to keep going down that path will definitely come to you. And that's where, that where we like to use that alignment comes into play. But throughout the entire journey, you definitely have to believe in you and who you are and the things that you want to do. Even though it looks different, it looks strange, it looks weird to other people, you're going to get that judgment, and, you should be doing this and you should be doing that. But you have to, at the end of the day, believe in you, believe in yourself.
Yeah.
That's the main
Speaking
thing.
life into it. That's right.
I just want to add something to this too. Something a lot of it too is, like you said, generational. And I want to hit on that a little bit because when we're growing up, we're always like, you have to get good grades. You're pleasing people from very young. Get good grades. You gotta look. You have to look
Right.
good. You have to speak a certain way. You have to do certain things. So from young, just about most of us have learned to live a life that's expected of us by other people. And as we get older, we kind of still hold on to these things. And it's like, luckily, like you were saying in high school, you knew, but most people, even through adulthood, don't even get to the point where they realize that, you know what, I could live a life that I want. And by the time they figure it out, they're so far into adulthood that it's affecting their relationships and their children. And there's a point where there's an awareness that people have to make to say, hey, I'm okay where I'm at. I don't have to continue to live in these things that I've learned. There are lessons that we all have to learn from our past that we bring with us. But at the same time, that awareness of knowing that I'm good enough for me and I don't have to keep trying to please.
Yes.
What we do is we pass that back to our kids. And in our relationships with like our spouses and stuff, we want to please, please, please. And then who are we pleasing in the end? So we kind of have to be very aware of
Yeah.
where it comes from. And then once we figure it out, how are we going to change it? And those
Yeah.
daily affirmations and knowing who you are, like everybody in this panel say, it's like the first step. And sometimes it's just a simple thing of saying, you know what, I'm smart. Smart by whose definition? By your definition.
Right.
Not by
Right.
somebody else's. And then you could build off of that. Okay, I'm smart. Okay, I'm pretty. Okay, I could do this. Okay, I could accomplish this. And it starts from little steps to big steps where you're just like, okay, I'm good with being me. But
Right.
to
That's
take
right.
that first step is really hard because you're not coming up with a decision one day like, I just gotta
Yeah.
stop. You're bringing a whole generation, a whole bunch of your
Woo-wee.
culture, a whole bunch of
Right.
the things you grew up with. And so it's really, I know for me, I would be personal with it. When I had my son, that's the first time I ever had to sit down and say, how am I going to raise my child?
Yep.
And saying, how am I going to raise my child meant, who are you going to be raising this
Wow.
child? And
Right.
that's where my mind shifts. So there has to be something that you got to hold on to make you want to make that change. Because if not, you could be, I have clients that are over 50, 60, still living like they're 12, but they
Yeah.
don't understand that because it never made that shift.
Right. Right. And I gotta say this, and I know I'll say what I need to say, and then I definitely want to hear Viola, and we can definitely transition into her segment on the show for tonight. Everything that we've been saying is really hitting home on so many levels, and I know that this show is blessing people. Kira, you said something very key, and I saw something when you said it. When you mentioned the anchor, I thought about how the ankle represents shackles, it represents chains, it represents bondage, it represents baggage. And so a lot of times when we are carrying the anchor, we're carrying a lot of that baggage, the bondage, all that with us. And some of it doesn't even rightfully belong to us.
Mm.
And we're literally taking our stance in our place where our ancestors and even sometimes living family members have left off, that we're the one to carry the torch. And so, when we wonder why our load is heavy and we're feeling maybe anxiety or depression or confusion, a lot of these things are based on the load that we're carrying, and nobody really teaching you this is how you unpack your load. This is what this tool does. This is what that does. If you do this, it's gonna lead you here. So as trailblazers, because each and every one of us on this panel are indeed trailblazers, we're literally there's a dual responsibility. We are responsible for creating the trail, and we're responsible for leaving something on the trail for someone else to literally follow us in our footsteps. And so, that dual responsibility can come with a lot of challenges. It can come up with a lot of unknowns. And so, it literally stretches you to embrace who you are even more as you are being made. privately and publicly a lot of times, and understanding that it's okay. And a lot of times we don't even give ourselves that grace to be like, you know what, today I didn't hit the mark, and that's okay. Yesterday I was on fire. Today I'm not feeling it so much, but you know what? It's okay. And to be like, to be hopeful about what you're doing, and to have vision about where you're going, and understanding that all this work that you're doing isn't in vain. It's for a greater purpose. And if nobody else tells you how amazing you're doing, that you have to literally look yourself in the mirror and tell yourself that. If you're crying, if you're screaming, if you're smiling, whatever emotions you're facing at that current time, because this thing is not an easy race. I don't care what anybody says. This thing is not easy at all. However, it gets easier when we allow for our minds to not overthink, and we allow for ourselves to put ourselves in a position of gratitude and be thankful for where we are and where we're going, when we can really just sit down with ourselves and reflect on, you know what, I used to be like this, but now I'm like this. So that I have to, that's evidence. I love that. That's evidence that I'm doing something right, because I'm still in the game. It's evidence that I am learning who I am. It's evidence that I am empowering myself sometimes, because ladies, there's times where you literally have to stand in the mirror flat footed, no lashes, not even wash your face yet, and tell yourself some things. And it's real. And people don't talk about that, but it's just being a woman, period, since this is Vault Talk Women Share, it comes with challenges. And a lot of times we sometimes feel that we can't unload what we're really going through, because of the cattiness of women, because of the backstabbers, because of the betrayal, because of the hurt. But we have to understand that we have to get to a place to love on ourselves, no matter who is surrounding you. It's amazing when you have the village, the tribe, the circle that literally can empower you. But when no one is around, how are you empowering yourselves? And here's what I'm saying. Have you ever had that moment where you literally pick up the phone, you're either texting somebody, and nobody who normally is there for you is around? So you're literally forced to literally encourage yourself. You're literally forced to pick yourself back up. You're literally forced to have that conversation with God or the universe or whatever you believe in, because literally that's on purpose, for purpose. So sometimes when you want to pick up the phone and be like, why are they picking up? And you feeling some type of way, it's nothing but an indication that you have to pour into yourself, and it's okay. And we need to understand that our oil is so valuable, and it's so potent, that we can literally take our own oil, swallow it ourselves, and reignite it just like that. But sometimes we're so conditioned to having this person, that person, on our right side, our left side, and our front and our back. So there's those times where, and I'll say this, there's times where I've had them more lately than normal, and where I can just pick up the phone. I'm like, really? Or, hey, I'll call you back. Hey, I'm feeding the baby. Hey, I was like, okay, I know what this is. Okay, I need to encourage myself right now. Okay, I need to go to my affirmations that are on my wall. Okay, I need to hear I literally have, it's an audio book, and it's nothing but affirmations. So okay, that's the time it is. Okay, I got it. And it's okay, because the thing is that what you don't want to do is forfeit your identity blueprint because of the opinions of others. So literally standing on the path of understanding, this is who I am. So if such and such can't get it, and such and such can't get it, and mama can't get it, daddy, whoever is, if they don't get it, I have to live this thing out for me. Because at the end of the day, my identity doesn't look like anybody else's. It may have similarities, but it's not identical.
Yes, right.
Absolutely.
Go ahead, Vi.
And just
Yeah,
to hit
take us
on
home.
Ooh, boy, y'all said a mouthful. I don't even know where to begin. I mean, my mind is just blown right now because I believe it was Kiera who stated that she really didn't conform to other people's opinions. And see, me, I'm different. I did. I got bullied. I got talked about, but I was this loving, caring kind of person that I loved being around everybody. I loved them. I would engage with them. It wasn't that I was trying to be a pleaser. It was just that people just flocked to who I was, because I wasn't that person that talked about people or anything like that. So I was the person that got bullied. And I'm like, why am I the one getting bullied? And I'm cool with everybody, you know. But see, there's things that is called your spirit. See, people they get jealous of you
Mm.
because of the way you carry yourself, or they get mad at the things that you are talented in or that you have that they don't have. And so when we're talking about identity, that is so key because I didn't have that identity growing up. See, I didn't know the calling or the power that I had within me that I do now then. Had I did, oh, it would have been a wrap. It wouldn't have been no problems at all because I wasn't the type of person that, I don't like conflict. I don't like confrontation. Like back then, okay, I got into a couple of fights, but I had to take up for myself. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it was people trying to put their opinions, the things that they went through, the things that they didn't have on me. And see, we have to be very careful because people like that
Mm,
right now as
Mhm.
adults are going through the same
mhm.
thing because they haven't dealt with it. And so we're dealing with unconditioned
Ooh.
spirits. Oh, that's a good
Yes.
one because we have been conditioned for so long to be how our parents were, or their baggage and everything that they went through they put on us, and now we have all of these spirits and all of these things going around us. We have been conditioned to get sad when something happens or curl up in a ball and not deal with it or not go talk to anybody about it because we think counseling is wrong. No, I'm not telling the people my business, none of that. We have been conditioned to keep all of those things deep down inside of us, so that strips us of our identity and who God created us to be. So even right now for myself, I'm learning as an adult where my identity is, because as I was growing up, I knew that I was just different. I was that person. I asked questions. I had my hand out. Like I knew exactly what I wanted. I was just different, and nobody helped me package that in a way that I could be
Wow.
powerful like I am now.
Mm.
And see, that's one of the things that I have to teach my daughter, because she is very outgoing. She is very outspoken. And now I'm teaching her how not to be manipulative, how to be that leader, but it's okay to follow as
That's
long as you're
right.
following the right person. And see, I didn't have that teaching of it's okay for you to speak words out of your mouth and really state your opinion as long as you're stating it in a respectful way. See, our parents have
Mm,
taught us close your mouth when adults are talking, don't say nothing, don't ask until you're spoken to. But what you're really doing is
Yep.
you're minimizing their
Ooh.
gifts.
Mhm.
You are minimizing the person that
Wow.
God created them to be, instead of sitting back and saying, oh, wow, okay, I see this in you. Oh, okay, I see that in you. Okay, now come here, baby. Let me show you how to package this up. But why don't they do that?
That's
Because
right.
they never figured it out.
Mhm.
Mhm.
They're still dealing with it. And so, us as millennial women and mothers, we are now having to deal with our parents'
Oh,
baggage from the
wait.
Yeah.
things that they haven't dealt with yet.
Mm. And it's a lot of
So,
it. Oh my
we
goodness.
just, I don't know who this is for, but for some reason it's all coming out. But, that's something that I had to deal with because that's why I didn't really hang around a lot of females,
Mhm.
and I had like a little small close knit of females, that I hung around because I played sports, and that was my getaway, was playing sports to really help me to condition myself of, being brave, being bold, being courageous, and really opening up myself and putting myself out there, because I didn't have nobody to say, hey, it's okay for you to be you. And I love what Les Brown says. It's like, don't go and go the path where others are going. Go and create your own path and leave a
Mhm.
trail. And so that's what I'm working on right now. I'm going to create my own path. And that's what we're all on here creating to do. And so can you, the viewers that are listening, you can go create your own path and you can separate yourself from the pack because, see, it's crowded at the bottom, right? It's crowded down there. We don't want to be down there. So you can climb your way out, but you got to be aware of the crabs that's trying to hold you back. So we got to be very careful about the people that we hang around and about the words that we speak out.
That's right.
Well, I feel like you shifted us into your holistically YouTube segment. Am I right or what?
Lord Jesus, and how that came about, honestly, is because, like I said, I didn't feel whole when I was younger. I didn't, because I had the baggage of my parents. Either they were in abusive relationships or I saw abuse, dealing with that. And it's like I had to conform to the things that they were going through. Oh, this is how you handle that in a marriage. Oh, okay. Oh, so this is how you handle this in a marriage.
Yep.
You're supposed to put your hands on them. Oh, okay. I don't want that. So I learned at an early age what I didn't want. And so when you see certain things like that, you're like, nope, I don't, nope, I don't want that. No. But see, we still have to be careful with that because, see, when you say you don't want it, that's the very thing you attract. And so for me, that was the thing that I attracted, and it got real close to certain things. And I had to really be cautious because, see, let's go back to a spiritual tip here. Number one, God says, he who findeth a wife finds a good thing, not a wife going and finding a man. So number one, I messed up because I thought that I was doing God a favor by going and finding my husband, right? So number one, I put myself in a wrong predicament in doing that. And so I put myself in that situation, being in getting those very things that I did not want. So I had to be real careful about that. But one of the things that I wanted to hit on is that, stress levels, number one. Okay. But also too, that identity part is so key. I didn't know who I was. I thought that me pleasing a man or, me picking a man that I wanted was going to identify who I was as a person and make me feel good. But in actuality, no, it's me having a relationship with my Heavenly Father and him showing me who I am and whose I belong to. And so when I'm packaged right, then God brings the right person that's going to be packaged right. Or I'm going to be, needing some things that my husband can fulfill, and vice versa. See, we think that going and getting a husband or a wife is going to fulfill our needs, but in actuality, no, it's not. You're still going to feel empty inside when you're with that person if you're not right with yourself. So being whole is dealing with the mind, body, and the spirit. And see, a lot of people leave that part out. They leave the spiritual part out because you are connected. You are one being. How are your organs and your muscles and all of those things going to operate if they're not together, if they're not in alignment with each other? And so when you're not in alignment with your Heavenly Father, then things in your life will fall apart because you don't have that spiritual aspect. So what hit my spirit was the stress. Now, me and Takara, we were talking about this, and the part that you hit on was those seeds of what comes out of your mouth. So you can create your own world with your words. And by doing that is by saying the right things that come out of your mouth. But if you've been around situations that was be this, be that, you ain't this, you ain't that, guess what? That's going to come out of your mouth. You ain't never going to be nothing. Guess what? Now you're creating that generational cycle and that generational curse again by not stopping it. Why? Because what you say, you become. And so when we say we want to be healthy, when we say we want to lose weight, when we say we want all of these things, but then you don't put in the work to get it done, then you're just saying those things. You are being a procrastinator, right? You're just saying it so that you can sound good. Because see, getting the things that you truly desire, it takes work. Just like you go to a 9-to-5 job and go work that job for 8 to 12 hours, they don't want to take that time to, say 10 affirmations, or they don't want to take that time to go get or and seek counsel. Why? Because they may feel some kind of way, or they may feel threatened by that person, or whatever their excuse may be, right? But maybe, just maybe, it was because of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to understand that, people won't say what they actually need. And if they do, they're just saying it so that they can sound good. And so we have to be able to pull certain things out of people, because they'll tell you one thing, but then mean another. And so we have to be really careful by what we say and how we say it, because our words create our
Mm-hmm.
world. And so one of the things that I wanted to hit on was the stress levels. Like I called Takara, and I know she probably is, not going to mind me sharing this, but I was like, man, I got this feeling. I was like, I don't know what this feeling is. And it's like, when you're dealing with certain things, and you're pregnant with something, it could be just one drop of a seed that can change your whole demeanor. One drop of a seed. And so, like she was stating earlier, it's very careful. You have to be very careful with who you tell your dreams to. You have to be very careful about those seeds that you're planting with certain people, because they'll try to abort your mission prematurely. And so you got to be real cautious with that. And I was telling her, I was like, man, I having this overwhelming feeling of anxiety. And I had to speak to it. And then she had to correct it, because she was like, bam, this is what it is. Identify it, shift it, move now. And I said, wow. And so by the end of our conversation, we were talking about something else. We were dream building. You know what I mean? So it's very important that you identify it right away. And like she said, sometimes you got to identify it yourself,
Mm-hmm.
because I did. I was like, hey, listen, can you talk? And had she not responded back, that would have been my signal. You need to talk to me and stop relying on other people. But
Right.
sometimes God blesses people in your life to
Mm-hmm.
be your earthly coach as well, because we already know our heavenly Father he's our Abba, he's our daddy, and he is our real true coach, that can really help us get through some things. But he blesses us with people on earth to help us coach through some things while we're down here. And so one of the things that I deal with, of course, is, women, millennial women who have had children, or, they're looking to have children and they want to lose weight. And so I was like, one of the main things that's a really heavy hitter for women is stress.
Yeah.
We have so much stress. We're dealing with the children if we got children. We're dealing with the husbands if we got husbands. We're dealing with the family members who we live with or don't live with, right? Then we're dealing with, crazy, co-workers and people just, in our environments and stuff. And so I got on and I was like, I want to know the statistics of stress in America. So I looked up the statistics, the American Institute of Stress. 83% of US workers suffer from stress related issues. 83%.
Ooh.
Now, get this, the ages of 30 to 49 are stressed out at 65%.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That's us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that is a really high number. And I'm like, wow. But check this out. People younger than us, 15 to 29 years old, 64%.
Oh,
Wow.
64%. Now the ratio is between 1 and 10. Stress for women is a 5 to 4 ratio. So 5.4, 5.1, excuse me, women are stressed out more than men, to 4.4. And so we have to really, and that's why, it's called holistically you too, because we have to find a way to be whole.
Yeah.
And by finding a way to be whole is finding a way to being able to somewhat have a balance in your life, right? And having a plan in place whenever those moments, those triggers that come, or those
Ooh.
attacks that come, you got to be prepared, right? Because preparation meets opportunities, right? So if you already prepare yourself and say, okay, you know what, when I get stressed out, this is what I'm going to do, because we know what's going to happen, right? Especially when you have children. And so you have to be able to say, okay, cool, I got my bath ready. I need this time, or I need to have some Bible time, or I need to just play some music, some calming music, or some affirmations. You got to be able to have something in place that's going to help you bring your stress levels down. Because if you're somebody that's looking to lose weight, especially in those really pungent areas that are very sensitive, like your stomach, which most women, it's in their gut area, right? That's wanting to lose weight. Well, you probably not being able to lose weight because you're stressed.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And that's a big factor to weight loss, is being stressed out. And I can attest to that. You trying to juggle all of these things. You're trying to juggle a business, you're trying to juggle children, you're trying to juggle a job, or you're trying to juggle a relationship. Maybe a relationship that you shouldn't even be in. See,
Uh-oh.
we put ourselves sometimes in the wrong situations, because I've been there before, that causes additional stress, and you wondering why your face is breaking out, or you wondering
Mm.
why you're stressed out. Well, you never should have gotten with this person, or it's time to sever it and let it go, because that chapter is done in your life.
Yeah.
So we just have to learn how to find different ways that we can deal with stress, because especially women, Black women at that, women of color, we get stressed out a lot because we have additional things that we have to take on, especially in the workplace. So that's pretty much all that I wanted to share. I know that was a mouthful, but I'm ready for the rest of this conversation.
Well, you hit on some amazing points, and just the level and bring of stress. When we talk about that, we think about it being something that's noticeable, and stress can be one of those things that we don't even notice that we're stressing our body out. And so when you really talked about the numbers, and data really drives conversations, and data also drives your mind into a place of realize, oh, I need to do this, and oh, I need to do that. But you said something very key, and we're going to say this, and everybody can have their last words, and we're going to wrap up the show for the night. um, One of the things that you said is women carry stress in their stomachs, in their bellies. And what I immediately think about is that's the birthing place for women. That's the place where we even carry the ideas, the thoughts, those, those business ideas, whatever it is that we're carrying. As women, we're carriers, period. That's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother day. Just the aspect that women need to be viewed as carriers. Oh, that's good. I like that. We're going to talk about that. Anyways, but you brought some really amazing points home, just making us really reflect on stress and allowing for us to do some self-reflection. What are some things that are stressing us out that we don't even know about? How can we get to the root of these things? And the first thing that comes to my mind is really submitting it, writing it down, making it plain, and submitting it to God, the universe, or whatever, so that for the be revealed to us, so we can literally eliminate stress in our lives, so we can be operating fully in purpose. Kira, I know you have to get out of here, so if you can share some nuggets really quickly, and then we will see you next month.
Okay. So, oh, okay, I hear echo. Okay. So, the nugget I have based on what was discussed is just be you. Don't try to please others. I'm trying to tell you, I've tried that before just to see what it was going to do in college, and it was a no-go. That's just not, it's not meant for me, and it's not meant for anyone. God gave us all fingerprints. Nobody has the same fingerprints. That should tell you something right there. You're not meant to measure up with other people. You have your own path that God set you to do. Live your purpose, not other people's.
That's it. That's it. Nelly P,
Absolutely.
what you got for us?
So my takeaway is know that you're enough. At the end of the
Mm.
day, know that you are
Mhm.
enough. The stress part, I everything she said is so good. I will tell you, I'm retired in the Navy, 30 years, and every 22 minutes of a day, we lose a service member due to suicide. So stress is something that we deal with on a regular level.
Wow.
The sister circle is the key for most of us. We extend ourselves to each other because we know what we're going through. But at the same time, I tell people you got to learn to laugh. You got to learn. You got to learn to laugh. You got to find them people that you can sit with and you can laugh till your gut hurt and your tears are rolling out your eyes. Because when you're finished with that, you're like, okay, shake it off. Next thing coming, I can handle it. But people got to stop taking life so serious for every little. And if it ain't your problem, how you worrying about it? It ain't for you. Keep moving. Stop taking on stuff and keep it moving. And at the end of the day, you're enough for you because only you can wear your shoes. Period.
Yes, period. Period.
Mic drop.
Okay, Viola, period. All right, Lady Liz, drive us home.
Honestly, yes. Just to kind of piggyback on both of what these ladies were saying, you have to understand that you have something that you were meant to bring into this world, to show, to give, whether it's just to one person, but you have to give it to that person. You can't depend on somebody else to give it to them. Don't be the supporter all your life. I'm speaking for
Ooh.
myself. I cannot be the supporter for all my life and give to other people, but I can't give to myself. Don't do it.
Yeah.
So I think that's, at the end of the day, I think that's the best nugget I could possibly give.
Well, well, well. Last but certainly not least, Aisha the influencer. What you got? What you got? What you got?
So I've just been sitting here holding a lot through listening through the conversations. But Viola, your segment was great. All of the coaches. I mean, this is a rich conversation. But what I took from what Viola was saying, and she was mentioning how we just speak things and say we want to do things. And I was thinking about this. God put this in my spirit earlier today. Is faith without works is dead. And I think it's so simple, but that's something that we kind of really don't, apply or comprehend to the sense that we can actually make it applicable in the things that we choose to do. You have to do more than just say. You can't just say I want to, like I was saying, be healthy. You have to put the work behind it. Wishing and praying is cool, but if you're not putting that work in, you're not going to see end results. So just remember, faith without works is dead. And what Coach Nelly hit on is just the people pleasing. That is a real syndrome that we are kind of inundated with as children. And as we grow up, we still continue to carry out those traits of wanting to please everyone. And okay, I have to do this for this person to like me.
Yeah.
And just know that in our adult age, those things do not work. So kind of break away from always wanting to please others and look inside and learn, okay, what is it that pleases me? What is
Yeah.
it that I want to do? What I need to do? What is my purpose and the things that I need to go after? Everybody is not going to like you. That's just impossible no matter what you do, and everybody is not for you. So we exert a lot of time and effort trying to, get people to like us, and there's really nothing you can do to kind of persuade people to like you. They're going to like you or they're not going to like you no matter what you do. So you might as well just work towards your purpose and the things that you want to do. That's something that us, even as adults, have to break away from the people pleasing and learn how to please self.
My, my, as the seasoned saints would say, my. This has been such a rich conversation. Thankful for each and every one of you guys that are watching this either live or on the replay or through a watch party. You can definitely catch us every Thursday night right here if you're tuning in via Facebook. That's at Vault Talks Women Share. Or if you're catching us on our YouTube channel, which is again Vault Talks Women Share. And so thankful to the women who make up the Coaches Huddle. Thank you so much for dedicating your time, energy, and wisdom. And so we're very much thankful. but next week, every second Thursday, we got Lady Liz dropping those nuggets with her segment called Debunking Debt. You don't want to miss it. And so we're really excited about what we're able to bring on this platform, because it's indeed important for us as women to learn more and to share more about matters which pertain to our world. With that being said, we're out. We love you. Mwah. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week. Peace out. Peace, love, and hair grease.